I want to know what Figma Make actually designs on its own, so I'm going to give it a brief and let's see what happens, and I'll give you my honest take on it. So, welcome back to part two of my series where I test AI design tools, and I'm going to design the same app in every tool, the same brief, the same constraints. Hello, I'm Silu, a product designer based in New York City with a master's in human computer interaction. I currently work at Lucid, a calorie tracking health app used by millions of people around the world. I've also worked on Challenges, a fitness app made for Apple. Basically, I've been around and I learned to design the traditional way, so let's see what all of these AI tools has in store. In the last video, I tested Claude, and honestly, it had its good moments. And today, we're testing Figma Make. It's going to be same app, same brief. So let's get into it. The app is a gamified to-do list app. It is for someone who feels overwhelmed with their tons of things to do, with their projects, who procrastinates, who feels overwhelmed, who wants to complete all of their tasks and have it feeling like leveling up in their life, leveling up in a game, basically. So it's not just crossing things off a list. It should feel fun, light, encouraging, and the game layer should be the whole point, not just something that's added on top. So here's the prompt. I know it seems a little bit long, but as I mentioned, I know exactly what I want, a part of it for the MVP. So I am telling it, hey, this is what I want. But something I have kind of done in this prompt is I've also asked it to think about how to resolve this specific problem. I feel like the reward part is one of the biggest puzzle in this idea. So I'm curious to see, what AI does on that. So that's what I'm walking in with. Now let's see if Figma Make can get close to what I want and if it's going to give me interesting solutions. And voila, we have it. So it does look quite good looking at it from the user perspective. So in general, it did exactly what I asked for, but how good it is another question. Overall, it for an MVP that looks okay. I mean, it has all the minimum functionality, which is fine. But the concern here is that we're actually trying to help users who are feeling overwhelmed and who want a sort of like fun, exciting aspect to doing their task or completing their projects, whatever it is. And I feel from a design perspective and from a user perspective as well, the aspect of that excitement, engagement, that motivation, that reward when you do something, when you complete something, is missing in the app. So let's try to bring that in and see what it does. And then I'll give you my top three wins and top three pushbacks. All right, so a couple of things I did in my second prompt is I've added an image as an inspiration for it so that it could make the UI a little bit better, more creative, more like a game. And in the core task, I've asked it to give to the power to the users to be able to edit, the quest. They should be able to add levels if they want to, and add tasks, remove it as they want. And I've also asked it to add a navigation menu at the bottom where there's a home page, a quest page, and also a new functionality where users can actually compete with their friends if both of them want to. So let's see what it does on that. Okay, so let's see what are the three wins from these designs. So the first win is the very first task of the curation of a quest. It's asking you what's weighing on you. That is a really good framing. It doesn't feel like you're adding another task to the app. It feels like the user is actually telling the AI what's actually weighing on them. And these quick chips are also a very good design strategy because it solves that problem of a blank page where it feels like you don't know where to start. So I think this is a good design. So win number two is the quest a breakdown in progressive disclosure. So as we can see here, we have level one, and then we have that list of tasks one has to do in level one. And level one is active, whereas level two is grayed out and locked. And I think from a user perspective and from a design strategy perspective as well, this is a good design where it could be it sometimes it depends on the type of project, but from a perspective of like someone who's overwhelmed with having to do so much, and sometimes the answer is just do one thing at a time, get that done, and then go to the other one, right? And that is the kind of strategy Figma Make here is applying here. And I think taking into account the kind of problem we're trying to solve here, this is a good design in some way from that perspective, where user is only focusing at level one at the time, and they don't even need to see what's in level two. So there is no overwhelm, looking at a lot of things at once. So just focus on whatever these tasks are in level one is the priority at the moment for the user. And it also shows the reward points that the user gets once they complete each task. So again, this is the right game logic in terms of gamification, because the reward is something that actually motivates the action, not the other way around. So in that perspective, I think this strategy is good and it's a win. But also do remember context matters a lot. And at the moment, we're only kind of considering the fact that the users are overwhelmed, and we're trying to narrow down their focus into the current task that is of the highest priority. Okay, so win number three is the add new level experience. As you can see, it's located here at the bottom of the stack. And we could just tap on it and give this level a name, let's say new level 4, and then enter, and everything appears in line, and it's very simple. It has very low friction in interaction, and the action happens exactly where you expect it to happen, right there in the list. And that respects the user's mental model of what adding something should feel like. So I think that's a good design. And from a user perspective as well, um, like our users are someone who's already overwhelmed, and the last thing they need is a complicated flow just to organize their own tasks. So this experience keeps them in control. I think this is an intuitive design. So here are my three pushbacks. So pushback number one is around being able to edit the levels, user control. So when you create a new quest, let's say taxes, done, then you have those level breakdown. So level one is fully editable. You can go on and edit it, um, right? And then you can add some task as well. Cool. So that's really nice. But level two is entirely locked. It's grayed out. You can't even touch it until you complete all level one, right? So let's say if I complete level one, then only you can go on and start editing level two. So this, from a UX perspective, this is a real problem because the whole point of the screen is planning. The user is sitting down and they've got this, they've told the app what's overwhelming them, and now they want to map out the whole quest, all the levels, all the steps before they get started. And that's a completely natural behavior. That's what people do. But the design doesn't allow it, and I explicitly asked in the prompt for the quest to be editable. So Figma Make did give me the edits and deletes, in general, but it kind of missed the whole big picture of what editability actually means to a user planning their, project or their quest or the task. Pushback number two is around the reward moment. So as you can see, for example, here, if I check off these two tasks, I get a confetti celebration. So when you complete a level, you get this confetti. It's fine. It looks nice for a second, but then it's gone. And then you're back in the same screen where you were on before. So from a design perspective, it's a this is kind of like a dead end reward. It's a micro celebration with no story, no continuity. There is no bridge between the action, completing a level, and the bigger story the app is trying to tell, which is that your consistency is building and something is real, that you are progressing. For example, as we can see here, what I believe there should be a town here, Lumi's town, which must be growing as you progress. I believe, as it says here, your consistency is building a beautiful town. Keep finishing quests to earn more sparks, and the town should be building. So I think that is the concept. That's the whole metaphor in this app, is to build the town, and it's dependent on like your growth and so on. So from a user perspective, this is the most important moment in this entire app, the completion moment. And that's when the user should be able to see their progress, so that they could reflect back on it. They should be able to see some sort of growth once they finish their level. This character should be reacting in some way, should be saying something motivational. Also, in the brief, I did ask for a reward intensity to be something at 8 out of 10. And over here, this confetti is kind of maybe like a 4. Um, the infrastructure for something much better is already there. The town, right? The spark, the trees. This isn't just connected to this moment in some way. So I think that's my pushback. So pushback number 3 is this friends leaderboard section. So I did ask in my second prompt that maybe some people would like to do a competition with their friends. So we need that kind of challenge competition feature with friends. But then it did do that, but it also created this leaderboard, and it did understand that social layer to it. But with the ranking here, of who's doing better than who, this part I explicitly said no in the design brief. So looking this from a user psychology perspective, and the user we're designing for is someone who's already overwhelmed and struggles to start. They're not procrastinating because they're lazy, because they have this weight in their shoulders of just starting and getting these things done. For them, it feels like it's impossible, right? So these are the kind of users we're designing this for. And now for this kind of person, imagine like them, they see, if they see themselves at the bottom of the leaderboard, that is very demotivating. um and it comes and it's competition can be motivation for a lot of people, but we cannot rely on this. It's not it wouldn't be a case for everyone, right? So that's a very risky factor to take into account in design. And this is what like Figma Make missed here, right? This isn't just about a UI detail, it's about emotional intelligence. It didn't ask who this user is, what could hurt them. It just directly defaulted to one of the most, common patterns when it comes to social features, or like just when it comes to the word competition or challenge, right? So you have a challenge, you have a leaderboard, there you go, kind of a thing. And that's the thing, AI design tools cannot do that yet, like really thinking about context, emotional intelligence, not just in regards to, okay, these are the UI components I needed here, so just bring it here, make it look pretty, and it's done. No, that's not it. There's a lot of details and sensitivities you actually need to think about in design. So I think it kind of missed that here. So what now? I don't want to leave it here. I want to give Figma Make another chance to correct it. So I'm going to prompt it again, and this time I'm going to be even more specific about what exactly I want, right? After analyzing the design and really thinking critically about each aspect of the design. So 3 things I've asked. So from those 3 pushback is number 1 is the locked levels. So I've asked it to unlock all the levels, from the start. There must be full control for the users to be able to edit it, at the beginning, and not have to wait, after each level. Second thing I've asked is around the completion reward. So the reward system, again, this is the problem that I actually asked it to solve at the beginning, which I did mention, right? But we haven't found a good solution for that reward system yet. So I also did mention something that I already had in mind was building up a town. So I didn't explicitly say it to Figma Make at the time, but now I'm saying it, like, there needs to be a new element appearing in Lumi's town, right? Also, I've asked it to replace the top image of this homepage with an isometric image of an actual town that's in progress, so that users can see like what they're building with their progress in real life. And number three is the friend screen, of course, that we just talked about, to remove the leaderboards and replace it with a co-op challenge format where there's only two friends, working towards a shared goal together. So it's more about support growth, together than competition of and comparison. So let's see what it gives. Okay, cool. I'm really happy with the results. So I sent those corrections to Figma Make, and honestly, I'm actually really happy with the results. I think I'm happier than like what the results were in Claude, because I know right now Claude is in, it's very powerful, and it's in such a hype right now. So that I was kind of surprised myself. So first things first is when you create your task, whatever it is, then now it does give you the ability to edit, whatever you want at the same time. You can add as well, and then add your micro tasks. So that is great. I love this. No complaints at all. So I love that Figma Make did that. The second one is, of course, under friends. We now have this co-op collaboration. So it's now more about doing it together rather than competing against one another. So I love this. And then one thing though, like on this specific part, what it did is it replaced the image with another image, and I'm still not happy with it. So the whole idea around this Loomies, building your town as you grow, is that your consistency builds a real world in the app. That's the idea. That's the reward. Um, but the execution here is not right. It's still just a static illustration, a 3D illustration. It doesn't feel alive, and it doesn't feel like something like you're building in the app. It's like you're just like collecting these, something like that. So what I have in my mind is more like a city builder game. I can't remember any of those games at the moment, but yeah, I just can't remember at the moment. But what I'm imagining is a city builder kind of game in a minimalistic version, of course, where where you start with the empty land, and as you progress, buildings appear. You collect these, and you put them into place, and you grow a town. A sense that your effort is literally constructing something, plot by plot, building by building. That's the feeling I want when for users when they open the screen. So I'm going to prompt it one more time. I'm trying to be very specific here in the prompt. So let's see what it does. So the results are in, and honestly, I'm extremely happy what Figma Make has done. I think also one thing I want to just like say here is this is what I had when I was trying out the default model. And to be honest, I'm not really happy. I wasn't really happy with this design. And right now I'm trying Gemini 3.1 Pro, which is for more deep and creative work. And I think this is working really good. I'm getting exactly what I want with these reiterations as well. And look at what it did. I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's using emojis and keep bringing in those towns. But like, I don't expect it to do all the things, which is completely understandable. But I'm very happy with the results in Figma Make. Like, I'm surprised at myself that I'm happier than I was in Claude. And I didn't expect this at all, to be honest. And also, I didn't show it previously. We had that thing with celebration on what it should look like when one completes a level. And I think we can see here we have a big confetti. We have a description, what just happened. So level is complete. How the user, some motivational words for the user, and what we won as well. Like of course this needs work. Like I'm not saying this is perfect as the way it is, but it's really good. That is what I would say. So what's next? Now, if I was building this for real, my next step would be to go back into Figma Make and generate the remaining flows. For example, onboarding, account creation, and some other general screens that I haven't touched upon yet, and get that full pictures and bring in all the pieces in one place. And from there, I think I would start bringing in the brand identity, because right now it looks like a good app, but it still doesn't look like my app yet, right? Or like whatever specific brand it would be. So I think I would go around and play around with the typography, what's the brand colors, what's the visual identity, and also what's the brand strategy, right? What's the, for example, the reward system. I know I talk about it a lot, but this is a very important component, of this kind of app concept. So I think another step is, again, do usability testing, talk to your users, do some research around it, see what actually motivates your users. So again, you're building for your specific users, and it's very important to actually understand what helps them, as that's what you're trying to do. I would think about the reward system, how like the whole town idea would actually scale, what happens at different milestones, how a certain thing evolves in the app. So I think those are the design strategy decisions that I would think through properly myself or with my team. Figma Make got me to a great starting line, but the rest of the thinking is mine to do. And as a tool for generating a working design foundation so fast, and I think it did an amazing job. So here's the side-by-side design of Figma Make and Claude. And thank you so much for staying with me until the end. Do like and subscribe if you like it. Do drop in your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like me to try a specific design tool in part 3 of the series, do drop that into the comments. I'd be happy to read it, and I would be happy to try whatever tool it is. And I will see you in part 3 of the series, where I'll be testing all the AI design tools with the same prompt, same brief, and I'll give you my honest take on it. Thank you so much.